Sir, do I just poop on the gun?
Hey there, party people, and welcome to People Stuff, a weekly anthropological advice show hosted by me, Michael, and my colleague Dan. Remember, we're anthropologists and we know stuff about people.
People stuff.
This week, we're talking about going back to the garden, all meat diets, and whether it is true that you are what you eat.
It is an anthropological truth widely acknowledged that humans everywhere and in all times have made a bit of a big deal about what they eat. Prohibitions, taboos, encouragement ring the globe. Whether it's a communion wafer, a totem animal, or a high-protein oatmeal, humans are pretty lockstep in feeling that you are, in fact, what you eat. And this certainly gets at one of my pet peeves, the paleo diet. Near as I can tell, the paleo diet is simply the latest way to dress up a high-protein, high-fat, high-vegetable diet, one that will likely induce your body to start metabolizing its own fats via ketosis.
Dan, that's enough rambling from you. Don't you know we have a guest this week? I mean, I have a lot to say about this paleo diet, but I feel like you sucked all the air out of this podcast, even though it's an hour long. We are delighted to welcome to People Stuff Saanchi Shah, a professor and genetic counselor at Florida State University's Institute for Pediatric Rare Diseases. Saanchi, welcome, and could you tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe add some thoughts on the paleo diet, or at least on Dan's overly long monologue?
Absolutely. I'm so thrilled to be here. This is my first podcast ever, so thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, you chose the best. It's all downhill.
I am
from
so
here.
sorry about that.
Let's hold on. I'm joining from Florida. It's actually not sunny because I'm in Tallahassee, and it's the state capital, if you've never heard of it, but it's actually kind of cold out here, comparable to Los Angeles right now, I would say.
Nice.
And I'm originally from Mumbai or Bombay, whatever you feel like calling us, that's totally fine. I just returned from London and I was on one of the best walking tours I've ever been on, and my tour guide got very confused. He said, "Didn't you just say you're from Mumbai? Now you've said Bombay. It's one and the same city." And I turned it back around onto him and I said, "You're British. You couldn't pronounce the Portuguese name Bombay, so you rechristened us
Mr.
and called us
Colonizer.
Bombay."
Come on.
Oh, man.
Which do you want it to be?
And so we actually use it interchangeably because our state government switched the name around to Mumbai from Bombay because they didn't like any colonial remnants, which is obviously totally understandable. But I think I've said a lot about my origins, and I haven't said anything about why I'm in Florida.
And that's a question that we all have.
I also want to know, do you prefer Mumbai or Bombay? Any preference between the two?
Between Mumbai and Bombay, I think it's almost like a mood. Sometimes I feel like saying Bombay because the name changed in 1995, and if you're a 90s kid, you're a bit confused.
I feel like if you're around British people, you just want to pick the one that makes them the most uncomfortable or angry. So probably Mumbai then, right?
Oh, yeah,
An anthropologist has to
absolutely.
be Mumbai, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And my tour guide's excuse was that he's Irish, so he tried to save face.
Oh, yeah, sure. That makes everything all right, yeah. Sorry. That's a great excuse. Sorry, I'm Irish. Whatever, yeah.
All right. You pass. You get a pass. We won't sort that one out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, you always need to come up with an excuse. That's it. That's the solution.
Oh, okay.
But in Florida, I actually conduct clinical research, bioinformatics research. But what I'm most excited about is a statewide genomic newborn screening program that we're launching, which is really cool. So we get to do a lot of exciting work. And then I'm also co-launching a genetics clinic in Tallahassee, which is a very unconventional clinic because we don't have an MD geneticist, but we have non-genetics clinical champions. And we just want to help families cut short their diagnostic odyssey, especially in areas like these where it's extremely underserved, and we want to make sure that we can get the most cutting-edge options available to these families as well.
So, Saanchi, for a toddler or an anthropologist, can you explain what a genetics clinic is?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So essentially, We can either draw blood, saliva, actually, even simpler, no tears, and we're just trying to scan your DNA and understand if there's anything that's different from a reference genome. We've always heard of people talking about the human genome, so we're just trying to understand if there's any variability compared to the reference that might indicate why a child has some differences, some developmental disabilities. That's essentially what we're trying to do.
So you
but
compare
instead
this
of
kid's genome to the old white man's reference genome, isn't it? It's got to be some old white man. That's got to be the reference genome, right?
things
like
have
some one or the
started
sun.
changing.
It's
It has
one
to
of
be
the
some
two.
geneticist in the 90s who just said, oh, I'm a good reference material.
Things have evolved. The reference genome actually wasn't just one person, but we now are on almost the third version. And every time we say that we've actually composed the entire genome, it's actually a lie. There's always pieces that are missing. But it's getting better. It's getting really better. So we're evolving. We have more information now. So it's really exciting.
So, Saanchi Shah, professional liar, you seem highly trained, highly competent. Why on earth would you want to come on People Stuff?
I feel like this is a trick question.
Totally is.
Yeah,
It's
that's the
absolutely a
podcast.
trick question.
It's like people asking me, so what do you think of Tallahassee? And I'm not quite sure if I'm supposed to answer.
People Stuff, the Tallahassee of
The
podcasts.
Tallahassee of podcasts. Oh, that's a great tagline. Yeah.
People Stuff. Did you think Tampa Bay was too cosmopolitan? Come to
Yes,
People
come
Stuff.
to Tallahassee. Well, all right. As per tradition, we start every episode with an anthropological reflection on some fresh hell. Dan, what's on your mind today?
Toilets, Michael. Toilets. The inevitable result of all of that eating that we're going to be talking about. So apparently there was a fully functioning 18-karat gold toilet at Blenheim Palace in England. It was stolen in 2019, and the thieves involved have received a 4-year sentence and a 27-month sentence, respectively. The best part of all of this is that the toilet was a piece of art made by an Italian artist, Maurice Catalan, and the thing was called, wait for it, America.
I thought you were going to say Florida.
Florida, see, America is the Florida of the rest of the world. And it seems that the theft was the definition of a smash and grab, and it took 5 minutes. And just in case anyone is wondering, this is the same artist that did the banana taped to the wall, which sold for $6 million and change.
Okay, well, this guy definitely knows how to live in a way that I don't understand. I wish I could be this guy. I mean, that's
Hey,
quite...
Michael, you filling out a grant proposal? What's your next project going to be?
My daughter tried to tape up bananas to the wall, and I just told her not to do that, that there were proper places for bananas and tape, and that the wall was for neither of them. But, you know, this reminds me of something. I was with my daughter in Home Depot the other day, and she got really into looking at all the toilets. I mean, I don't know why. She's like, wow,
As
so
one
many
does.
toilets. I was like, but they all had signs on them explaining that they were display models and not hooked up to a plumbing system. And like, basically not for use, right? I mean, I think the sad part of this is that you need the signs, right? People will ignore them. I told her not
my
to
God.
open any because I was afraid of what we'd find inside.
Well,
But,
this is, I mean, it's like when you read a contract, every provision of the contract is because something terrible has happened. So every
Yeah,
time you see
exactly.
a toilet in IKEA or Home Depot with the cellophane
it's
over
because
it,
something
it's like
terrible has happened in that toilet.
Yes.
Yes. All right, you two, are you ready for our first question?
Hell yeah.
Yep.
All right. Here it is. What's the Last Straw writes, my husband and I moved to a big house in the suburbs a few years back. We both work office jobs, don't mind the commute, and love having a bit more space. Things were going fine until COVID happened. I mean,
Yeah.
pick a number. Pick a number. Yeah.
This
That's
is the
right.
first line of,
Yeah. True. Okay. Like a lot of people I know, we got into some home food hobby stuff like making sourdough bread and canning fruits and jams and pickling vegetables. That was kind of it for me as things opened back up. I sort of walked away from all of that. Not my husband. He went pretty directly to those food hobbies, from those food hobbies to growing some tomatoes and then some kale. I thought this was great! Exclamation point. Okay. Now we have some fresh vegetables to spice things up a bit. And he kept growing. It's gotten to the point that basically all of the free land on our acre plot, well, that's a big lot in the suburbs, an acre, is given over to some kind of permaculture garden. I don't really mind the bugs and mess and so much, but what's getting me is he's getting really mad when I buy produce from the grocery store. He says we should be completely self-sufficient and cut ourselves off from the grid. Plus, we can avoid pesticides and chemicals. Again, I love the produce, but I don't want to eat nothing but carrots and potatoes for 6 months of the year. What the hell is going on, and how can I talk to him about this? Signed, What's the Last Straw? Person not liking the peasant life. Yeah?
Everything was going fine until COVID.
Yes, sure.
I feel bad for this person. Last straw, carrots and potatoes for 6 months of the year. That's kind of like my situation in Tallahassee. There's like literally 2 restaurants where I can go. How often can I eat the same food? But I also think that, you've set the stage so well. You talked about toilets first, and now we're talking about food. So the setup is amazing. And
All
last
that's left is
one.
fire.
That's the
Last
next question,
straw.
I think. Yeah?
That's the Levi-Strauss triad: toilets,
Yeah.
food,
Oh my
fire.
gosh.
Absolutely.
But I want to say that last straw really reminds me of my life at my parents'. We were in middle school and we moved into a new flat, as we say it back home, and no longer lived in a cookie cutter apartment that's so representative of bigger cities like New York or Mumbai. And so we finally had a lot more room and balcony space. And my parents developed this new hobby of growing all sorts of herbs and hybrid seedless lemons, tomatoes, eggplant. In the beginning, it was fun. We
sounds
could
lovely.
literally, it's like,
Sounds great.
yeah, in LA, you pay so much money to go to a restaurant where they say it's farm to table. So it was, honestly, that's exactly what we were doing.
Yeah,
But
balcony
then,
to table.
Oh,
Yeah,
these are those
well-
vertical farms I've heard so much about.
Yeah, exactly.
oh, absolutely. And it's all good in the beginning until they then ask you to actually start helping them, which is what happened with me and my brother. We were not excited.
Oh, this is the universal things that comes with farming. It's child labor.
This is the
Oh.
I mean, this is why people hate farming. It's because of the farm work. No, literally, nobody wants to do farm labor. That's
No,
the,
no,
Oh,
no.
that's
yeah.
the problem.
And,
And
like,
our
that's why
pocket
you have
money
lots of
didn't
children.
increase.
Yeah, right.
And yeah,
Saanchi,
so
we're
just
going to need you
to...
to stay home from school today. You need to tend to the seedless lemons.
There's the answer to the evolutionist question about why we stopped evolving when we started farming, because no one wants to do farm labor. Thank you.
Okay,
End-
so
end of
Saanchi,
humanity.
where did this story go? Things were
Oh.
good until
Yeah, until we started chipping in, but they decided that we were actually doing pretty well. So they started moving some plants to the community terrace so that other people in the building also had access to it. But that meant all our fruits and vegetables started getting stolen.
Oh, this is like moving your shit to a common storage unit. It's like you have too much shit in your apartment, then you go get a storage unit, then you get another storage unit. So you
Yes.
guys had too much produce, and then you got a produce storage unit, and you started storing your produce outside of your own plot, and then people started stealing it.
Absolutely. That's exactly what happened. And to make things worse, we
Communal
started
life
getting
is
a lot of
hell.
worms and birds. I still remember a pigeon laid 2 eggs in our balcony, and we can talk about this later, but my parents just couldn't imagine destroying the eggs. So we actually raised 2 baby pigeons. It was nasty.
Wait, you raised 2 baby pigeons?
You
But
raised
the pigeons
2
raised their
baby
own?
pigeons?
Well, because my mom would put water and seeds out, and the pigeons were way past their age to fly out, and they just wouldn't leave because they got everything they needed. It was so bad.
So you had child labor, you had tenants.
Yeah.
You're just like reproducing the dregs of
Well,
agricultural
maybe
life.
your mom was just looking for 2 offspring that appreciates her efforts at raising food. I mean,
maybe your
Oh,
mom
man.
she
needed a
not
hobby.
to
I don't
be
know.
too hard, Saanchi.
It
but
is a
maybe your mother's just
possibility. I
looking for
never thought
appreciative
about this.
offspring, whatever species they may be.
You know, this theft of agricultural products is so funny. You know, I grew up in L.A., Michael, Saanchi, and you know I have family all throughout California. And as Michael well knows, there's a lot of agricultural activity in California. And
Yeah,
so
I grew up in a farm in California, so there. Yeah.
one day, one of my aunts was driving through a rural part of the state. I forget where, but she just gathered some oranges that had fallen from a tree.
Oh, had fallen.
And perhaps she picked one. I don't know. But then the police showed up, and she got a citation for taking the fruit that was just out there.
Oh my God.
Oh my God!
That's so California.
I can't tell you how many times I've run people off stealing fruit from an orchard when I was growing up. I cannot tell you how many. And I won't even
What was
tell
your
you.
preferred method of running them off, Michael?
Shotgun, obviously, but
Above the head or at the knees?
those are both good.
It's it's so fun. I think there's an anthropological hook to this. When a lot of people think about human evolution, which is like you're always 2 steps away from it when you're talking about like optimizing diets or whatever. But like evolutionary speaking, like when people imagine humanity, they think that, okay, we were hunter-gatherers for a really long time. And then somewhere around 10,000 years ago, ballpark, we just stopped. And then we did the farming thing. And we never looked back. And there's a decent amount of evidence that suggests that people actually didn't have that binary a break. So not only did you have, foragers, hunter-gatherers, whatever you want to call them, around agricultural communities and cities and states or whatever, but even on those kind of more built-up cities, states, communities, whatever, people would go back and forth between them. So like you would cultivate some stuff, but you would also forage some stuff.
Oh, like
or
you and
grow
your
some
frog
stuff.
digging earlier this year in
Exactly,
Boston, right?
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
I go to the grocery store and then on the weekends I murder frogs, and that's how I get a decent amount of my protein. So
That's where you get your protein. Yeah.
But like I love it because like David Graeber and David Wengrow in their book Dawn of Everything, they talk about this kind of like relax a little bit, right? It's this kind of human developmental process is not like a one-way street. You're allowed to go back and forth between these things, and you can play at agriculture, you can play at farming, right? You can play at hunt. Like if you are in a situation of such abundance, then why not go back and forth between the two and not necessarily rely on any given one? And I think that's actually what like the questioner, when you really get down to it, that's part of the issue. The husband is just like, we are incontrovertibly, irreversibly going down the path of raising pigeons on our balcony, and there is no turning back from this. Whereas perhaps the wife wants a little bit of flexibility. I don't know.
Well, okay, look, I'm going to defend the husband here. I mean, here he is carefully turning your suburban wasteland. I mean, you have an acre lot. What is it? You live on like a mini golf course or something? That's a huge lot. I mean, what are you going to do? Like plant an acre of lawn and then spray it with pesticides and stuff? I mean, give me a break.
What if you want to play
with this?
sports and soccer and that kind of stuff? You need a nice turf.
It's not quite big enough to do that, but
I'm an
I
American.
think
I don't
he's
know how
just gonna
soccer
get
works.
bored. Eventually, he's gonna get bored. My parents gave up, and you just have to sit it out, let it naturally evolve. That's the only solution.
Wait, Saanchi. So what happened once your parents got bored? I want to hear more about this.
No, they actually got really sick of how nasty our balcony became because of the pigeons. That's when they had to put their foot down. So we just had to wait it out. So I think that's the solution. Wait till the other foot drops, and it'll be fine.
No, this is Michael. This is the thing. Remember when things get too wild, you bring in another wild animal to correct the overwilding.
Of
right?
course, that's right. That's when one part of your balcony goes feral, what you need to do is introduce another animal.
So
what you need to do is introduce some hawks to hunt the pigeons. That's how you get rid of them.
So yeah, this is what Last Straw needs to do. They need to figure out, okay, what kind of crops are we growing? What kind of land use is going on here? And then what type of animal will just absolutely destroy my husband, and then how can I introduce that to our 1 acre plot?
No way. I think kudos to this guy for keeping his COVID-era hobby alive. He's been at it for 5 years. I mean, he's got 5 years into this plot of land.
I think Michael's gonna start going to buy produce from this guy.
Are you kidding? I want to become this guy. This is...
You just need an acre. That's the thing that's holding you back.
Land, yeah. Huh?
In Koreatown.
If I could find an acre in Koreatown, yeah.
Aren't you in like an apartment that has like a giant courtyard? Can you just start cultivating it bit by bit?
I do, but this giant courtyard also has like a dozen kids who run out there all the time, and I know they would.
Well, there's the solution. You have child labor.
Yeah, but I'd have to get a pitchfork to get them all in line. I mean, I know they would just be out trampling my garden. I'd be out there, "You goddamn kids, get off my garden!" You know, it's kind of. But this is it. Kudos to the husband for keeping up with the hobby and not just abandoning it like so many weaker people. Yeah, you keep growing, man. Keep going. Feed people. Yeah.
COVID preys on the weak. If you stick to your COVID hobbies, you stay strong and avoid COVID.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
COVID, more than anything, is a mind game, and Michael's mind is not weak.
Well, I mean, not after a few cups of coffee, you know. Before that, it's pretty wobbly. Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about this one?
Yeah, I mean, I guess have you considered employing a shaman or even a therapist to help you?
Or at a minimum, looking up your local child labor laws?
No, don't do that. That I don't advise at all. Better not to know. Yeah.
So Saanchi thinks that you just got to wait it out. They'll get bored. I think you should introduce some sort of an animal to actively annoy your husband. And then Michael thinks that this is a paragon of human achievement and you should respect it.
Yeah, agriculture is the pinnacle of human achievement. Respect it. I grew up, I say that as someone who grew up, a rural person who grew up on a farm. I'm tired of these urbanites telling you that you're worthless. You keep going. Lived on the farm. You're living the peasant dream.
Well, there you have it. Live the peasant dream. Remember, if you have a question, you can write to us or leave us a voice memo at people-stuff.com.
Or you can send us a basket of produce. We'd very much appreciate that.
Just wander the campus at UCLA and shout, Michael, I have your produce.
Yeah,
and
I'm
someone
the only
will send
Michael
them.
I might be the only Michael who will respond to that. I'm being a prairie dog sticking my head up.
By the Bruin Bear.
Yeah.
Free produce.
Just leave that basket hanging from the ear of the Bruin Bear, and I'll find it. Yeah.
So, Saanchi, before we move on, what does your parents' balcony look like now?
It actually looks pretty sad. They just like made a complete U-turn. There's no plants there.
See, this is the problem. Humans are way too binary. It's either all one or all the other. How nice would that balcony be if you just had a lemon tree? And that's it.
I mean, you can't like farm part-time though. That's the thing. I mean, it's
well,
a
that's
commitment.
the point of a fruit tree.
This is the thing you urbanites don't understand. You plant something, you plant a lemon tree, that's like a 10 or 20-year commitment. Thing's not really going to give you any lemons for 4 or 5 years, then you've got to commit to it for like 20 years.
Yeah, but once that lemon tree's going, like once a year, boom, you get your lemons.
That's not how it works, Dan. It's not how
Well, you got to
works.
shake it a little bit?
Yeah. You have to water it and prune it and
Talk to it, maybe? I don't know.
protect it from predators and lots of things like lemons, not just you and I.
I hadn't considered that.
Respect for the farmers. That's what I say. You have a bunch of Trumpinistas over here. Yeah.
Remember, if you have a question, you can write to us or leave us a voice memo at people-stuff.com.
Or you can send us a fruit basket. I'll
Michael.
take a basket of produce from this guy any day.
Please, fruit baskets to Michael. Actually, I would like a fruit basket. What's in the fruit basket?
Fruits and vegetables from this guy's acre large garden.
Michael, it sounds like you're actually going to get a basket of carrots and potatoes.
I love carrots and potatoes.
I will
I'll make a
take
stew.
them. I only have one Whole Foods and one Trader Joe's in town, so I will take it.
Okay. For this episode, send all of your produce deliveries to Saanchi Shah in Tallahassee, Florida.
Which apparently has no produce.
The land of toilets. Okay. You guys ready for the second question?
Yes.
All right. Here is our second question. Raw and Ripped writes, Sup, dudes? 22-year-old guy here, and I spend a lot of time at the gym. What can I say? I love getting jacked. Anywho, as you might imagine, this means I'm pretty careful about what I eat. Lots of lean meat and vegetables. Very little in the way of carbs or sugar. Lot of whey protein, etc. Now, the other day, I was talking to one of my gym buddies about some gains he's been having, and he said it really took off when he switched to an all-raw meat diet. I don't think I want to do this, but I asked him about how that could be good for him, and he said this is how we evolved, and that it was much healthier to eat this way than the, quote, little bitch, end quote, way I was eating. Could you guys help me out here? Am I supposed to be eating raw meat and only raw meat? So help me God. Signed, Raw and Ripped.
Oof, I feel bad for this guy. He's gonna hate
For what
my
reason,
answer.
Saanchi? For what
First
reason?
of all,
do you feel
he needs some new friends. Okay, and also like, what's he got against?
I'm
farmers?
definitely
friends?
going to alienate myself from him. The second he hears my response, he's gonna run away. But I'm still gonna say it.
But Saanchi, you're pretty jacked. I don't know. Maybe he'll listen.
Sure.
How much can you bench, Saanchi? That's the criteria for like any guest on this show.
Can I say how much I can lift? Does that count?
Yeah, absolutely.
About 125 pounds.
Like from the floor in a deadlift style?
Oh yeah. How else
wow.
would you lift it?
Welcome to People Stuff. Do you lift, bro?
Yeah, and apparently the answer is yes. Saanchi
Yes.
does lift, so there you go.
And so then I think I'm qualified enough to say this then that, well, he's not going to like it, but raw and ripped, I'm a vegetarian, so I'm going to tell you to not eat any meat. And I still, lift quite a decent amount of weight, so I think you're a guy. I'm sure you do much better than I do, but I think you need to be careful. It's not just about the fact that you're eating meat, but you're considering eating raw meat. That's dangerous because you're opening a whole can of worms, literally. You're going to
Parasites,
contract.
worms, bacteria.
Oh, yeah. You're going to get
coli.
E. coli, salmonella, and, I could go off on my philosophical preaching sermon route and tell you not to eat meat, but honestly, this just sounds crazy.
So
So
raw
I
and
would
ripped.
go to a professional.
If you like pooping, consider the raw meat diet.
Look, raw meat is a bad idea for a lot of reasons. Saanchi gave you all the good nutritional reasons. She's a scientist and a vegetarian. She knows, and she can apparently deadlift 125 pounds. Is that more than your body weight, Saanchi?
It's about the same.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 2 times your body weight's pretty mediocre. If you want to be an elite deadlifter, though, you got to do like 3.5 times your body weight. Yeah. But anyways, look, it's
So
a
you're
terrible
just
idea.
trashing me now.
Raw meat diet is a terrible idea.
Yeah, now Michael's
Listen to
nagging you.
Saanchi. But I'm going to give you some practical. I'm going to give this guy some practical advice. Look, if he wants to be as jacked as possible while he's young, then he needs to do it via the hormonal route, not going some ill thought out diet. He
Have you
should
considered gender transition?
Well, he might after I'm done with him. He should start taking steroids. He'll turn from a man to a real man. I don't know, whatever.
that
You'll kind of
sounds
take
great.
on the withered, leathery look of our Secretary of Health and Human
Amazing.
His
Services.
head will get huge too, and his testicles will
Your
shrink.
balls
so
will
there's
shrink.
some
Your joints will break.
ache. Yeah. Anyways, don't take as many as you think you need.
You'll also
but take
get really
a minimum
angry.
dose. Huh? Oh yeah, he'll be angry. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
lots
sure.
of hormonal imbalances.
Whatever. This guy wants
So
to
yeah,
get jacked.
off-market testosterone, non-medically supervised, is the advice that Michael is giving.
Hey, I'm going to tell him how to get jacked.
I hope
That's what
your
he wants.
students aren't listening, Michael. This is
None of my students
dangerous.
listen to
Professor
this
Scroggins
podcast,
said it was
believe me.
okay,
No.
Mom. Just put the
Saanchi,
needle in.
Very few people listen to this podcast. You would be shocked how few
That's
people.
not true. This is
Listen
my
to this.
podcast for when I drive in Florida and Georgia.
Okay, look, this guy. Okay, so steroids are dangerous, but think about the prices of raw meat. Red meat is so expensive. You should take steroids. It's a lot cheaper. And he
Okay,
can take.
okay.
You can wait. He can take the money he saves for medical expenses he's going to definitely require as he gets older. So steroids are definitely the way to go here.
So this episode of People Stuff happens to be a democracy, and Saanchi and I are outvoting you, Michael. Don't take steroids.
No, you really need to go to a certified professional. This advice is not great. I'm sorry, Michael.
I think there's actually
no,
some.
it's got to be steroids. This guy, if you want to get jacked, steroids are the way to do it.
So, okay,
everybody knows that. That's bro science, bro.
Maybe we'll come back to this self-medication thing, because I think there's also a cultural angle that is interesting here, and given that this is an anthropology podcast, perhaps we should try and think about why the hell this guy is running
you
into a
trying to
gym
anthro-shame
environment
me right
in
now?
which people are throwing meat at him. Clearly there were people who got jacked far before this raw meat fad diet became a thing, right? Clearly there are vegetarians and vegan bodybuilders who are perfectly
Not me,
muscled.
of course.
Yeah. Yes, like Saanchi, of course. So
Like
the
Saanchi?
raw meat thing is not necessary to get jacked. It's not necessary to be a bodybuilder. It's not necessary to get gains, whatever. So why is it that dudes hanging out at a gym would kind of catch the wind of a raw meat diet at this point in time? I think that's an interesting question.
It is. I mean, I can only blame Liver King for this. You would be shocked at how influential Liver King.
For the
Liver King
fortunate
is.
among our listeners, tell them who the Liver King is.
Liver King's a guy who lives in Texas. He was recently arrested. He may be in jail now. But
Is this the Bronze Age pervert guy?
That's a different thing. He's a conservative thinker, and I use thinker here in air quotes. But Liver King was a guy, like a fitness influencer who lived in Texas and was renowned for his intake of raw meat and liver. He's one of the major popularizers of this raw meat diet.
Okay.
But to go back to my very, very good advice, turns out that Liver King actually didn't get jacked eating all the liver. He was on steroids the whole time because it's the classic way to do it.
Well,
everybody
but look,
knows that.
Part of what's going on here is that like there is, as we've noted over and over and over and over and over again, a certain amount of uncertainty as to how men are supposed to be men right now. And this is one of the solutions that's being
You're
offered.
supposed to take steroids and eat raw meat and lift as much weight as you can.
No, you're supposed to eat raw
meat.
meat, lie about taking steroids, and claim to be as natural and clean as possible.
Yes,
and
exactly.
it's ironic because
Okay,
like
you
part
got
of
me.
the whole thing with like being jacked, being conservative, eating raw meat is that you're the most manly man you could possibly be. But many people are taking steroids, which is a hormone treatment, which is also what trans people do when they want a gender transition. So like that's a difficult contradiction to square, but I think we're getting a little bit further afield here. It is interesting, though, that people are pushing raw meat now as a way to be a man, which, historically wasn't necessary.
Like 150 or 200 years ago, the American diet included about a gallon of beer a day, right? I mean, people.
Oh, yeah. You
can't
look at
afford
like
how much-
the Lenten rules for
Yeah.
like a monastery, the rule of Saint
Yeah.
Benedict. They're drinking like 5 liters of beer a day.
Yeah, I mean, you need the carbs to build all this muscle too. You can't just go raw meat because you need these carbohydrates for your brain to work for one, but otherwise for your body to find cheap energy. Otherwise, your body's just going to turn all this protein into carbohydrate, and it'll be just this very inefficient process.
But I don't think getting jacked was an ideal that, people like 200 years ago actually were trying to ascribe to. This seems like a very new ideal that the American young man wants to subscribe to.
Yeah,
and then
no,
we
that's
have to
definitely
get
the
we
case.
have to get the genetic counselor on, the scientist on here to give us the anthropological point to put on this anthropological podcast, because that's it. That's it.
We know shit about history, apparently.
Apparently, or anthropology even. Yeah, but that is the point. Saanchi makes a good
I love
point.
looking at pictures of like professional athletes from like the 60s or 70s because they just look like people. They don't look like they
Yeah.
go to the gym at all.
That's true. That's true.
Well, there you have it. Do or don't take steroids? No.
Take them.
Vegan diet plus steroids? No, not that one.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Wait, we've learned from Saanchi. Vegan diet plus steroids is the way to go.
Don't take steroids. Don't take steroids. That's
Don't quote me on this. I am not for steroids. Let me be very clear.
Just Saanchi's first and last podcast appearance. You will find her down at the gym,
well.
eating her vegetables and shooting up her steroids.
Okay, I
Well,
think,
no, carrots and potatoes, because last straw is going to send them to me.
Exactly.
Okay, the question was, am I supposed to be eating raw meat? And I think the answer that we all converged on is no.
No.
Okay.
For different reasons. It's just too expensive.
Pick your reason, but no.
It's okay. We have the same conclusion. That's all that
Yeah.
matters.
Yeah. And if you
Don't do it.
eat raw meat, consider stealing a golden toilet because you're going to be spending a lot of time there.
That's a great idea. Or you might have to melt it down to afford all the raw meat. I mean, you're committing to like this very expensive diet, right?
That is another piece of this. A lot of disposable income is necessary for this diet.
Now it's time for Fixing Shit, the section of our podcast where we come up with solutions to life's problems. Dan, what are we fixing today?
Public restrooms.
So
what's
literally
wrong-
fixing shit.
Yes.
Yeah. What's wrong with public restrooms?
Michael, what's right with public restrooms? Let's start with the abundance question. We do not have enough of them. We don't have enough of them. How
Did Graeber
often
and
have you
Wingrove
wondered
write about
this
in terms of abundance?
What are you
of
talking
restrooms?
about? There's so many Starbucks.
Didn't they just reverse their policy?
Really?
I think they did.
Uh-oh, Saanchi. You better know this next time you go out in Tallahassee. Because I'm sure Tallahassee may not have many Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, but I'm sure they have a bunch of Starbucks.
They
But if you're a
do.
driver, actually, like, this isn't as big a problem because most gas stations have a bathroom that you can use. But if you're just, like, wandering around a city, often there
A
aren't enough
gas
bathrooms.
station in Florida at night. Just imagine that.
So in place of a toilet, there's just an alligator?
Or guns.
Or a gun.
Sir, do I just poop on the gun?
No,
What am I supposed to do
no. How could you dare think that? That's, a gun in Florida is like a religious relic. You don't. I mean, my God, what?
The sacred and the profane, always in one, Michael.
Always in one, but separate too.
Okay, look, we don't have enough of the public restrooms. When municipalities talk about building them, they're outrageously expensive. There's always a story circulating that, like, San Francisco had to spend like $3 million to build one public toilet that no one likes and is never open. And
tracks.
when it's there, it's not clean. Sometimes you have to pay for it. So yeah, this is the problem. And my solution, I think that cities, towns, municipalities, states, they should go in an affirmative direction. They should say, look, okay, if a public restroom costs $3 million to build, what we're actually going to do is we're going to pay businesses like, I don't know, $1,000 a month to just open their restrooms to people. And then you can have a competition for who has the best bathroom, who has the prettiest bathroom, who has the bathroom that's the most pleasant to be in. There's like a bonus prize on top of it. I think we should create a civic culture where we are proud of our bathrooms.
That's not really a civic culture, Dan. What you're saying is we should use the market and capitalism to make bathrooms great again.
No, but I want this run by like a Parks and Rec department.
I thought I actually almost had a nomination. I'll give it up anyways. Obviously, I miss UCLA and Los Angeles, but I think we need Japanese toilets everywhere. And
They don't have any in Florida?
For the casual listener, Saanchi, what characterizes a Japanese toilet?
Oh, it has a bidet, all these fancy buttons, a heated toilet seat. It gets sanitized. It's just magical.
It has
It's super
a,
clean, obviously.
It's
Is
like,
this gonna
it's like a
become the
control
bidet
panel of a
podcast?
747. Yeah.
Is this going to become the bidet podcast? We all like bidets. There should be more bidets. This is the bidet podcast. People stuff
Oh,
brought
yeah,
to you by
but
bidets.
I think everyone can agree on that. Yeah,
Yeah.
steroids
Oh,
and bidets.
absolutely.
We can all agree on that.
Hey! You stop trying to trick me with agreeing with something I like, bidets, and sneaking the steroids in. I will not bundle the steroids with the bidet.
Okay.
Bidet,
Yeah.
sir. Bidet.
Bidet.
Yeah, I think it's a cool idea. We should do that. And LA does have some really cool ones. Shojin, for example, which, again, shameless plug. I love that restaurant. They're not paying me. Maybe they are. That's why I'm here. You asked me earlier.
They pay you in toilet.
Yep. So I think we need that everywhere.
I think we're going to have to pay the businesses more than $1,000 a month if we want them to keep and maintain Japanese
What,
toilets.
are you going to pay every business in a city $1,000 a month to let?
You set a cap, however many bathrooms you need, or you set the cap at like $3.5 million, which is the price that a city is paying to build a public restroom, and then see how many you get.
But I mean, in Europe, they charge you to use a public restroom. I
And
don't
that
see
is
why
a
we can't
travesty.
do that here.
We do not discriminate based on income. Everyone should be able to use the bathroom.
Okay.
Well, have you seen the Indian tourists in Europe, though? There's one person who'll pay like £1 or €1, and then 10 people will just try to floodgate
Good.
through those doors.
Good. Pooping for the people.
This is great, but not when you're eating in a restaurant and there's a line of people waiting to use the public
This is the
toilet.
volume
Now
problem. We
public
don't have
toilet.
enough, so they get overrun. There is a lovely public restroom in Bryant Park in New York City, but it's like an oasis. There are not many public restrooms around there. It is maintained by like the Bryant Park Conservancy or whatever. There's always a staff member there. But what ends up happening is you have a line down the block and you have an attendant shouting at you to move on through, standing or sitting, move on through. And like, it's there, it's a restroom, that's great, but this is a volume problem. If we actually had distributed restrooms, you wouldn't run into this issue.
I have a solution. I have the solution for this volume problem and the cost problem. And the solution is this: squat toilets.
Okay. Oh, squat toilets, Michael? So,
They're
okay,
cheap.
Saanchi
Have you
wants the
seen them?
Japanese toilets, and you
Yes.
want the squat toilets.
I'll do you one better. I have
think
seen
this
a
is
squat
better
toilet.
than any personality test I have ever encountered.
I have seen a squat toilet in Japan. Okay. Look,
You
they're
ever
cheaper
see
to
someone
build.
miss when they're using a squat toilet?
That's what there's always a hose at the squat toilet.
No!
Toilet, okay? Look, it's easier
You like
to
bidets.
scale.
How about a
I
giant
Well,
hose?
you also need to be physically fit.
Yeah, that's why it goes with the theme of this episode. It's for take
Steroids
and
steroids,
squat
use your
jacked
thoughts,
people.
toilet. You know, steroid squat toilets. It all goes together. That's your leg day. Leg day built in. You know,
Michael,
I think
look,
Michael's on steroids.
Yeah, I think your brain has shrunk, and now you've been given a choice between Japanese toilets and squat toilets, and you're like, no, actually, I want the squat toilet.
So I've come out for suburban gardening, steroids, and squat toilets. So I'll stand on this platform. Yeah.
Vote
I'm really
Michael.
into these MAGA times now. I feel like I'm really into it now. Yeah.
Squat toilets. It's what you deserve, you worm.
Yeah, that's my answer. It's the infrastructure the United States deserves.
You know, this is so funny. We went from using squat toilets to Western commodes in India, and now you're telling us we were doing it right the whole time?
I'm just saying, it's a fantastic
Squat
solution.
toilets, the anti-colonial choice.
Exactly.
Heritage. Return. Squat toilets.
Physical fitness. Yeah. Then you
Yep.
really, yeah. That's my answer. I'm sticking with that.
All right.
with this.
I think, any one of these would fix public restrooms.
Yes. There you have it. Dan and Saanchi have fixed public restrooms, while I have given you some very practical advice that will actually fix the problem of the public and restrooms. We're going to take a break now, and when we
Yeah.
get back, we've got one more question.
People stuff. Michael thinks the public is a problem. People stuff.
All right. Our last question. Plato P. Pizza writes, I know.
We have the
know
best
where this is-
listeners.
Yeah, I don't know where this is going, but I'm going to read it anyways because it's the only one we have. I like pizza. You like pizza. We all like pizza. We all eat a lot of pizza, except for those that allow their lactose intolerance, gluten intolerance, and other dietary restrictions to get in the way. Weak.
Surprisingly inclusive.
You can get lactose, gluten, and whatever free pizza in LA. I'll just say that. Okay. My question is, how much pizza does one need to eat until one becomes a pizza oneself? When does pizza go from being pizza into being me? Am I a pizza? If I'm a pizza, is eating pizza a form of cannibalism? If I'm a pizza, is it okay for other people to eat me? What shape of pizza is the tastiest? Please help. Signed, Plato P. Pizza, who is puzzled by the problem of the heap.
I feel like this is the pizza of Theseus or something. So Plato P. Pizza is clearly trolling us for our becoming a vampire question from season 1. However, I think accidentally he may have opened up a really interesting anthropological question.
Definitely on accident. This guy's not giving a lot of thought to this, yeah.
A lot of steroids. Most cultures have an idea that substances of some sort or another are determinative of who we are and how we act. I think all do. The substances can be blood, semen, soul, whatever, some kind of essence. And in our
Don't forget
culture,
genetics. We have a geneticist on the podcast
Yeah.
for a reason.
trying to set up some softballs here. But yeah, in our culture, a lot of the moralizing about food and fitness seems to have to deal with this sort of substance thinking. If you keep the chemicals out and the natural stuff in, you'll be good and therefore a healthy person. And like the other thing is that there's like this kind of totemic thinking that is sitting behind the question. In a lot of places, people think that people, places, land, ancestors, they all share some kind of inherent substance that makes them the same in some kind of way. So, your totem could be an animal, which would also be related to a mountain, which would also be related to your lineage, your family. And so somehow substantively, you're all the same being. Perhaps I'm giving
I tried to give this very same answer earlier when I answered the question from the guy who wanted to be jacked, and I suggested that he joined the totemic animal of the totemic tribe of the jacked, which is the steroids, the substance they all share. And you roundly criticized me for it. But now you're telling me it's just good anthropological advice.
Our ancestors crawled out of the bay of steroids eons ago.
That's right. That's right.
We have always lived in the shadow of Mount Steroid.
We are the people who inject ourselves in the butt. That's who we are, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe there's like a weak version of totemic thinking going on here. So like if you eat so much pizza, it becomes your personality, and then you are coterminous with the pizza. But I think these totemic logics like are kind of sitting behind a lot of these questions about diet, because people are not just like, oh, I need to eat. It's like eating becomes me, or what I eat becomes me in some sort of...
I am what I eat. You are what you eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a kind of classic American saying too, right? Yeah. I mean, I think, here our philosopher Pizza demonstrates another core anthropological concept, and that is simply that the world allows for no monoliths. And here I'm going to take him to task for his inadequate philosophizing, okay?
You can't order just cheese. You must get toppings. There are no monoliths.
Well, I mean, pizza, he says. Pizza this, pizza that, pizza all around. But is pizza such a monolith? Is all pizza the same? What kind of substance do we share in when we eat a pizza? Do we share, or are we actually in conflict? Is there a single totemic pizza? Can such a thing be agreed on? And what kind of pizza would that be?
Oh, but it's Plato. It's Plato P pizza. There is an ideal pizza to which he is referring.
Yeah, and that's why Plato is an amateur. Okay.
People stuff, non-Platonists.
We're obviously professionals. Okay. In empirical fact, there are multiple kinds and types of pizza. Pizza is not a monolith. The world brooks no monoliths, in pizza included. It is something to be debated, for boundaries to be drawn around. Pizza is many substances in many different places. There are many totemic pizzas. And now that I've diatribed here about pizza and against Plato's amateur philosophizing, Plato, if you're listening, okay, I must pledge allegiance to
that.
Yeah, I must pledge allegiance to the only true substance, the one true totemic pizza, the Neapolitan. Everything else is a casserole, not a pizza.
I have to agree. I have to agree with that. I don't think American pie qualifies as pizza.
No,
and
it's a casserole. It's a casserole.
It is.
And California pizza. Don't even get me started on that.
Oh, God,
It's a travesty.
It's not a thing.
Absolutely not. And having lived in Los Angeles for such a long time, I have to say that even LA doesn't always do justice to good pizza.
Oh, no, the
I'm
pizza's
curious.
terrible in California.
There's a few places. I like Pizzeria Se. I don't know, Michael, have you been there? It's really good.
It's really good. Desano's. I like Desano's out on
Oh,
Santa
Desano's
Monica.
is good. Hot Tongue. Yeah, there's a few, but it's like they're few and far in between. And I think that gets to the bottom of this question. What do you mean when you say you really like pizza? And are you talking about the dough? Are you talking about the sauce? For me, it's obviously the vegetables. Maybe for Plato, it's the meat. I don't know. Or is it the cheese, or is it paneer, since I'm Indian? And by the way, gluten-free and vegan options do exist. So would you apply the same logic to those people? I don't know.
This is great. We have successfully turned over the course of this podcast Saanchi into an anthropologist.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful
Yes,
thing. So,
it's a
Saanchi, what would
beautiful
you
thing.
say to someone who says, I'm genetically predisposed to like pizza?
Yeah, what would you say then?
You're lucky. I wish I felt the same way. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but except for the fact that scientifically it makes no
it's
sense.
an incomplete transformation. Maybe more substances. Okay. Well, yeah.
A crash course isn't enough. You can only get me so far in like an hour. But I do think that this is a very philosophical question, if you will, especially when you're thinking about how we sort of become coterminous with like food, or our personality has so much to do with it. And coming from a faith, Jainism, which you probably have never heard of because we're a micro minority and it's like a stricter version of Buddhism. But one of our core tenets is to practice nonviolence, which is why we're vegetarians or vegans. And so I kind of feel like my roots have undeniably led me on this path. And as a scientist, of course, I like to think my actions through, but I don't know. It's hard to say if I'd been born in a different family, would I have been a vegan or a vegetarian even then? I don't know. But it's as much scientific as it's cultural for me at this point, and it's like a counterfactual question. I don't know what it would have been like had I not been part of this faith. And in fact, we just celebrated one of our annual festivals a couple of months ago where we fast. And if we cannot fast for 8 days, then we restrict our diet just to lentils and a few choice vegetarian Jain products. And then we apologize for all of our wrongdoings, including the foods that we weren't supposed to eat in the past year. So I think for me, vegetarianism is synonymous with my personality. It's like a fundamental principle that sort of drives me. But then as an Indian, I also like to think that our tolerance for spice content is pretty high. So when I say something's hot, I'm not referring to the spice level. I'm talking about the temperature. And so I think eating spicy food is also synonymous with my personality. And I'd be lost if I didn't have these characteristics to define myself.
Saanchi, I have a great story for you. So you may have heard that at one point or another, many Italians emigrated to the United States, and there's a robust Italian-American community in the Northeast. And one of their cultural legacies is they spangled the nation with red sauce Italian places, you know. And there are some old ones in New York, you know, that go back 100 years or whatever. Yeah. Like where I live, I'm really close to Patsy's Pizza in East Harlem. It's a vestige of when the neighborhood was like Italian. And so the other week, I went to a place called Bamonte's in Williamsburg. And it's a really, you know, it's a classic red sauce place. If you like that type of food, it is just perfect. But before I went there, I looked up the Wikipedia entry on the restaurant. Several years ago, there was a mobster who was put on probation, and the terms of his probation included prohibitions on going to a half dozen of these red sauce places in the New York area. So he was not, and Bamonte's was one of them. So he was not, so the terms of his probation kept him out of the red sauce places.
Oh my God, that's awful.
That's hilarious.
And so, you know, if I was looking for something to do for my next couple weekends, it's working through this probation sheet of restaurants.
Oh, that's such a great way. You should write a culinary
That's amazing.
But like,
you need to share it with us.
Yeah. But I love, because what you were getting at, Saanchi, is this idea that it's like, it's very difficult to pull these things apart and imagine the counterfactual where you live a different way with this food stuff that is so essential. And yeah, it absolutely is wrapped up with all this cultural identity stuff, this family identity stuff. And also that's what makes it so weird when someone is like, hey, I'm 22. I'm going to give up on all of that and just eat raw meat. Like there's something really discordant going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there is. But I mean, you have to kind of like the cultural pressure to be jacked for this guy, right? I mean,
maybe that's what's driving it.
My dad was jacked. My dad's was jacked. My dad's dad was jacked. I must be jacked.
Inheritance.
I hate to wave the flag for identity on this podcast, but hey, I mean, what is he if he's not jacked, you know?
He'll have to begin again.
He'll have to begin again. If he can't achieve jackdom, what is the state of being jacked? Is it
ripped?
You've jackdom? What?
Ripped.
Okay. If you can't achieve ripped, then I don't know. I mean, who is this guy? He might as well start over and move to a 1 acre plot in the suburbs and be a farmer for, you know, what's left?
It just seems to me that like it's such an extreme question that like you could basically pick any extreme and he'd probably be happy with it.
Yeah, exactly.
This is how cults recruit.
Yeah.
But he's still asking for advice, so he might be open to getting influenced. So I'm a bit worried that he's gonna go on steroids.
He should if he wants to get jacked. That's the fastest way to get jacked.
Remember, People Stuff is a democracy, and we have roundly rejected the steroids advice.
Remember, in a democracy, the minority voice is important. And
remember, this is America. The minority voice always wins.
Exactly. So steroids it is, my friend. There you go. Send some pictures.
But yeah, pizza. What was the question with the pizza? What was the question?
It was the question, can you step in the same river twice? The problem of the heap. Yeah.
How much pizza does one need to eat until one becomes pizza oneself? Mm-hmm. Well, I think we actually answered that question with the mobster. If the terms of your probation prevent you from going to pizza places, you have become pizza.
Oh, good one, Dan. Good one.
That's
I can
amazing.
finally agree with you on. Yeah. Good summary. That is true. And there you have it. Dan and Saanchi have fixed pizza. Answer the
And-
pizza question.
Now we might be sending someone to prison.
Yeah, but for a good reason.
Speaking of Los Angeles and the glorious victory of the Dodgers in Game 7 of the World Series, that's the end of this week's show. This episode of People Stuff is brought to you by a red balloon. If you had 98 more of them, you could start World War III, but you probably only have one. You're just a sad Banksy ripoff. One red balloon. Truly the loneliest balloon number. That's it for People Stuff. Thank you again to Saanchi Shah for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Saanchi.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you
been
so
great.
much for having me. It was so much fun.
Yeah. You can find all our episodes and ask us questions at www.people-stuff.com. You can also sign up for our newsletter and subscribe to the People Stuff Premium newsletter. That's www.people-stuff.com. Thanks for listening. Until next time, I'm Michael,
I'm Dan.
I'm Saanchi.
and that's an episode.
for-
Now we're going to banter until it's all over about pizza and steroids and...
Yeah, pizza, steroids, farming, child labor. We really covered a lot in this episode. Totemism.